What's up, you filthy casuals? Welcome to the Casual Shenanigans Gaming Podcast, a podcast all about everything PC gaming related. I am one of your hosts, JERMgaming, and tonight I'm joined by Dave.
Hey folks, I am Dave, the not so evil Viking 13.
And Reagan and Shane from the Short Game Podcast.
Hi, I'm Reagan. I'm the host of the Short Game.
And I'm Shane.
He's my bro host.
That's pretty good.
Bro host.
Now, do you guys have cutesy names you go by? Like we both have our gamer tags, or no? You prefer the real things? Okay.
Nah, you guys are too cool for us.
Look at you adults over there with your actual names.
It seems like a bad time after we actually started live streaming. It seems a bad time to ask this, but I didn't think of it till now. Are you cool with your last names showing up on the live video?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, when it goes up on YouTube, that's all blocked out, but...
Nobody out there is going to see my face, right?
No, definitely not at all.
No, just mine.
Big difference. Are you guys twins?
Oh.
Hello! Oh,
Hi,
that's shunning.
That's Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Julia.
That terrible shunning.
Put her name out there, too. Yes, we are twins. We are identical twins.
That's right, all our lives.
Yeah.
Well, you have different haircuts, different
Yep.
facial and everything, so you guys look like you're definitely brothers, but you look like you could be, I could guess you were fraternal.
Yeah. I'm going for the evil version of him.
We started living in different cities, and then we started looking a little different. I don't know if that's connected.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I'm not going to ask you which cities you live in. Sorry, that just got stalkerish. So where do you live?
Well, let me post my address towards the Twitch chat.
And are you normally up at this time of the day, or like what times? If you were going to pick times of day where you're like, I'm not at the house or stuff, what would those be?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast. After that horrible creeper opening, please don't leave. And we start the podcast as we always have for the past 3 weeks. With Patreon shoutouts. If you support us on Patreon, we greatly appreciate you throwing your money away on this podcast. And our Patreon shoutout this week goes to WELD. All uppercase, no other name. So WELD, thank you for supporting the podcast.
It's a good name.
It is a good name. And now we move on to the news. We have a lot of news tonight as normal. Okay, have you guys heard of Roccat? The peripheral maker, or Roccat. They probably say Rocket, but it's R-O-C-C-A-T.
Oh, yes. Sorry, what's their main peripheral thing that they make?
I know they make a lot of mice.
The rat, right?
The rat. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Wait,
I'm definitely familiar with
they
that.
make the rat?
Wait, isn't that?
Yeah, that was someone else.
Is it Mad Cats or something?
Yeah, that's Mad Cats.
Thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had one of those for like a week, and then I was spending like an hour a day tweaking and adjusting everything to make it perfect for my hand, and it was just terrible. So I went back to a non-adjustable mouse. But Roccat, or Rocket, depending on how you pronounce it, they have introduced what might be the ultimate gaming mouse. Okay. This mouse has a 8200 DPI laser sensor. If you don't know how fast that is, that's fast. Okay, but the thing about it that's so amazing is the number of buttons. Hopefully I won't forget any of them. It has the regular buttons, doot doot. Then it has 4 buttons flanking those. Then it has 2 side buttons. It has 2 more side buttons in a different place, a lower thumb button, a side scrolly wheel thing, and then a toggle switch on the top, which makes all those buttons flip from A profile to B profile, so you can double all of those buttons.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a two-handed mouse.
Yeah. And this ad keeps trying to play when I scroll down the page, so sorry everyone who's about to hear that. It has a 32-bit processor and 576K of RAM for rapid macro storage. So
I'm very confused by this idea. Go ahead.
It's a weird mouse. Looking at it, I'm not sure where to put my hands. There's like these narrow grooves where you can slide digits in between all the buttons just poking out.
What's the name of this mouse?
The Roccat Tyon. I'm going to post a link in the Twitch chat.
I think I'm looking at it right now, and it's I don't see how they've managed to squeeze this many buttons onto it.
And it has it has neon, underglow neon, so straight out of the early 2000s.
Wow.
It's I am honestly interested because I hate mapping things to like numpad or the F keys and stuff. To me, that seems like that's too far to reach when I'm gaming. So if I could have just all of that on my mouse, it's like who's the other company? I think Razer. Don't they have an MMO mouse that has something like 12 buttons on it?
I've seen that, and it essentially looks like it has a sort of inverted, curved kind of. It looks like a numpad on the mouse, essentially.
That's probably how someone came up with it. They were like, you know what we could do, guys? And it was like, guys, that's a stupid idea. He's like, no.
We could give you one keyboard for each hand. Both of them are also mice. I think that could really be good for MMOs, but I don't necessarily see the appeal for games where, I mean, you're not designing a game with something like that in mind.
Right.
I feel imagine if you were.
Yeah.
Just think of it.
Yeah, forget developing for the Kinect. You want the true challenge developed for a mouse with 12 buttons. They all have a function. It's like ARMA in hell.
Well, I was going to say, this might actually be the first mouse that can play ARMA without using the scroll wheel.
Oh, that's an idea. You just map every scroll wheel function to a different button on the mouse, and then spend all of your matches doing this.
I don't think I could use something like that without constantly looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
particularly considering the lights.
My current mouse, well, it can't come up high enough. Never mind. That was going to be cool. It has 2 buttons on the side, and I feel like that's a good, respectable amount. Like 2 buttons, DPI switching, and a scroll wheel. That's enough that I don't have to move my hand around, and I can comfortably hit everything. But I don't know. It makes you wonder how many more you could get away with if you really tried. But I don't know. It's kind of cool.
With a try.
Dave, so I'm going to chide you lightly. You did not get a time code on that news story.
I did.
I don't see it.
I just haven't typed it in yet.
Oh, I can watch your cursor when you move it on the Google Doc. Don't lie to me.
I've now moved down a line.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, so we're moving on to the next news story, so you might want to get that time code ready. Asus have announced the GX500. It is a gaming laptop that is, 2 centimeters thick, roughly, and it's a 4K screen. A 15-inch laptop with a 4K screen. If anyone wants to calculate that pixel density, go ahead. I'm guessing that's similar to like an iPhone's pixel density. Well, it's got to be at least like 230 DPI. And they boasted it's the world's thinnest 15-inch gaming notebook. Now, I know what you might be thinking. 4K displays need powerful graphics cards. What type of wizardry have they stuffed into this super thin gaming laptop?
Do tell.
They crapped it out on this one. It has a GTX 860M, which is pretty much going to be like a GTX 750 if you're looking at desktop versions. Not a horrible card, but if you want to play at 4K, you're dreaming. Like
What's it going to take to run something at 4K? That you could get for a laptop.
Nothing. That's not a thing that exists. Like
one of those SLI laptops, maybe like
the
dual
2 laptops
880 GTX
linked by USB 3 or something. I mean, as it is now, I have an R9 290, one of the beefier desktop cards you can get, and I could play at 4K at 30 FPS on medium, maybe on some games. So.
I've been saying for years, I mean, you've seen some of these things on the web where people are creating these sort of hacked together external graphics card solutions for laptops. And I'm still shocked that hasn't hit the market as an actual product, because I think we're still in this position where these laptop graphics, or the displays, are getting better and better. I've got a Retina MacBook Pro that just the display, it's not 4K, but it's a stunning display. But you can't get a graphics card into a laptop that will run that display. It doesn't exist. No. And I'm really surprised that even it's clearly possible. You're seeing some of these great sort of hacks where somebody's put together a PC power supply, ribbon cabled over to a full-size desktop graphics card with a full-size, with a cable running somehow into the computer. That's a terrible solution for your average user. But if you want a true laptop gaming thing, having yourself tethered to the wall might not be that bad if they could make something reasonably sized that you could throw into your bag along with your laptop, or not if you weren't going to use it.
Well, we've already made a step in that direction. There are laptops that run on Intel integrated graphics most of the time, and then actually I think a lot of MacBooks do this, and then they can run on a NVIDIA dedicated GPU when they do. So all you can do is just take out the dedicated GPU and make that the box you buy if you want it.
So put it in a dock.
Put it into a display. I'm surprised Apple doesn't put them inside
get the glossy white
Thunderbolt display, because the Thunderbolt display has the bandwidth to drive that.
Yeah, that can make sense.
Quick, file the patent.
Wait, you're saying the display like in the monitor?
Put it in the monitor, yeah.
That would be an expensive monitor because it's Apple, so they're going to double the price of whatever graphics card you're sticking in it.
Yeah, no, it would be fearsome expensive, but
That's not
I
a
think
bad
that would
idea.
be a good form factor for it.
So
it's
it's
a
super
laptop when you
convenient.
take it places, and
So it's
can
like a
have
MacBook
display.
Air when you're carrying it around, and when you want a game, you plug it into your 30-inch cinema display, and you have the power of a GTX 780 or something.
Yeah, it's been what I've wanted for a while, and they still haven't obliged me.
The GTX 780 is actually exactly what I have in my Mac. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now, will that are you running a 1440p display or? Okay, and it handles that pretty well.
Oh yeah,
It's decent.
yeah. I mean, it's.
I'm just thinking
It's not going to win any prizes,
This
but
seems
it's
Exactly.
This seems like a very viable idea. I don't think Apple would be the people to do it though, because this would require a lot of that
No.
crazy thinking that only happens in the PC sphere.
no. But I
Yeah,
think Nvidia
they
would
just
probably
don't care about gaming.
Yeah, and they really don't. Apple just
Well,
doesn't.
they
give a
shouldn't.
crap.
That's not
Yeah.
their. That's not their bread and
business.
butter.
But I think Nvidia should. They're already doing this G-Sync technology where they're building, their own special flavored hardware into displays. I don't see why they wouldn't. If that was something that was viable, I have no idea if they think that it is. But if it were, I don't see why. I think they would be the people to do it.
I'm sure it's technically viable. I'm guessing there's just not a market for it that's sufficient enough that they feel like it's worth doing. We have one. Oh, that then needs a Kickstarter then.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the perfect way to do it. Come up with some way to run it off. Make it USB 3 so it can work with pretty much any computer. Figure out an external GPU. You know what you could do to make it small and not consume much power? Just get a couple mobile GPUs and SLI them. So you're not getting one big desktop graphics card. You could just get like a couple cheap mobile ones and set them up in a little box like that big. I'm really excited about this. This seems really doable. As not an electrical engineer, this seems really doable. I feel like if I could just meet somebody who can do all the work, my vision would just,
Your vision. Hey, I filed
Our
the patent
vision.
before the show started.
Our vision. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jeremiah, with that kind of attitude, you can totally just start a mod team. Like, I had this great vision for a total conversion mod. I just need some artists, some programmers, some developers, some designers.
Maybe a writer, a couple of idea guys.
Well, you've seen those,
Yeah.
you've seen those
Ideas are
job
pretty
postings that people
slim.
are like, I can't pay you, but I want to give you 20% share in my company. I've come up with a better Facebook. I have all the ideas. I just need you to build it.
It's going to be a Facebook, but private.
Which makes it way more useful.
So yeah, that's the Gx500. They have not announced prices, but it's a 15-inch thin laptop with a 4K screen, so the price
I'm
is
scared.
more than you have.
Yeah. Start saving now.
I mean, that's faster and better than the Razer Blade, which is about a $2,000 laptop. So let's just say $3,000 just for grins.
Sounds amazing.
Sounds like Apple.
Yeah.
I won't lie, if I was looking for a powerful laptop, I would consider that, if for nothing else, just for working on it. Like, that's why I want a 4K screen. As soon as that Asus 28-inch drops in like 2 weeks, I am ready and waiting because I want it for work. I'm planning on gaming at 1080p for a while, probably.
Yeah, if you're going to run like Premiere or something on that, I could see that.
Oh, Dave, sorry. We're not doing these news stories in order, so get ready to scramble.
Oh, goody.
Speaking of 4K monitors, segue. One of Intel's senior executives, Kirk Skolgan, and I'm pronouncing that wrong, I guarantee it. He is predicting that 4K monitors will drop below $400 by the end of the year. Now, this is TN
Nice.
60 hertz panels, so no
Ooh,
fancy IPS dropping.
Not so nice.
No, but you ought to read reviews of like this new Asus with the TN panel. The reviews
Oh,
say
I've
it's
seen the
better than a
reviews,
lot of
yeah.
cheap IPSs because it's such a nice panel. It's dithering the pixels up to about 10-bit color reproduction. And
It's not bad.
it's pretty good, yeah. So, also, side note, OBS says it's dropping a few frames, so I guess Twitch is crapping again this evening. So, sorry, everybody. But unfortunately, most of these cheap 4K monitors are probably going to be from people like Envision and AOC, so not like the best hardware manufacturers, but if you want one, someone will make one, and I guess you can probably expect the Korean monitor manufacturers to be all over that in a couple months. But, yeah. So that's that. If you're looking for super cheap 4K, you might want to hold out.
Might want to give it more like 18 months.
Yeah. If you want really good cheap 4K,
Yeah.
you might want to keep waiting. But if you're looking to do the cheap version of that, which I'm guessing is like a $200 graphics card with a 4K monitor, so you can game at 11 FPS on low, someone sells a product that you might like. Okay, next news story. Xbox One is not a PC, so we don't normally cover it on this podcast, but it has a pretty nifty controller that a lot of people really like. They spent a buttload of money upgrading this controller compared to the Xbox 360 controller. I've never personally used one, but I hear nice things about it. Dave, you led America to victory in the Battlefield Showdown using one of these controllers. How did you feel about it?
Well, it was before the launch of the Xbox One, so I'm held by an NDA by Microsoft. No, I'm not. No, it was pretty great. Like, actually, the texture I liked a lot. Like, I have one of Joel's old broken controllers right here from the 360, and it's decent, but I hate that plasticky texture. But the new Xbox One controller has that the Nexus style, like that little bit of, how would you describe that texture, Jeremiah? Like a
rubberized, sort of.
Rubberized.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah,
plastic.
yeah. It felt really good, especially like playing for hours and hours and hours on it.
That's good to hear, because I always kind of feel like that rubberized feel, like once your hands get hot, I was worried it would feel kind of sticky.
Yeah, I think for me the plastic feels much more uncomfortable after long amounts of time.
Well,
yeah, I've gotten a chance to try that controller. I mean, a little bit. Not an Xbox One owner yet, but yeah, it's definitely a step up.
Well, good news for PC players then. As of today, drivers are available, so you can use an Xbox One controller with your computer. So that is honestly pretty tempting. I use a 360 controller for games like Dark Souls and stuff, so I don't know. I'm not in a rush to go get one, but I have a couple 360 controllers laying around. I could sell a few of them and just pick up an Xbox One controller.
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice.
Yeah. So that's a thing. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah. All right. Let's hit this news story, Dave. I'll let you kind of run with this one. You know which one I'm referring to.
Oh yeah, I've been waiting for this one.
Give us the update on this news story. Oh, brief recap for anyone who somehow missed us gushing about this a month ago.
Did we have Skinner Barkley on when we were talking about this last time?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was actually following this story. Senator Leland Yee of California, a state senator, very large gun control proponent, led a lot of gun control initiatives in the last 10 years, was arrested for gun smuggling and bribery.
No, not just gun smuggling. Give them the rest.
It gets better.
Yeah.
He had spent about the last 10 years accepting bribes for votes in California while smuggling actual assault rifles, full auto assault rifles, and RPGs for, I think it was the Chinese mafia, into California and into like Puerto Rico, and it's just all over the place. So he's currently yeah.
Does this sound like a Grand Theft Auto protagonist or antagonist?
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yes.
I've missed this whole thing. But
10 years of gun control, and then he's arrested for gun smuggling and bribery. He's currently in federal prison awaiting trial. But here's where it gets really awkward. He was in the running for Secretary of State in California, and it was too late to drop his name off the ballot. The election was Tuesday, and he pulled 10% of the vote in California from prison.
Oh my God!
So which I don't understand. Like, how did people not know he was in prison? Did they not care? Were they just trying to show their support for him for some reason? Like, I don't.
There were 6 candidates for Secretary of State, and he pulled 10% of the vote.
Wow! So was he like third? Do we know where he ranked?
I think he was tied for 4th.
Okay, so that it could be worse if he was like second or something. That would be California.
I'm sure a lot of people just go into voting booths and punch holes or
they're like,
punch buttons without looking.
I remember that guy. Yeah. He said he wanted to get the guns off the street. He gets my vote.
He'd been in office for like 12 years.
And they better with an R next to their name.
Yeah.
Or a D. What is this guy?
Definite D.
He's a big D.
I was waiting for that.
No, yeah, he's in San Francisco is his district, right? Or that's
okay. Well, then we know
San Francisco's district, and he favors very heavy gun control, so he's most certainly a Democrat.
Can make that assumption. I'm moving to the Bay Area shortly, and we are. We'll see how that turns out.
I really want to go visit San Francisco.
I'm looking forward to my opportunity to vote for currently incarcerated felons.
Yeah, there's gonna be a selection pretty soon, from what I hear, if it keeps going this way.
Is this gonna go from like chicken in every pot to like smuggled assault rifle in every home? Yeah. How to buy my vote?
Oh man!
But yeah, that's the Leland.
That's a crazy story. I'd not heard about that.
I just through quickly trying to find a picture of this guy. I'm on an article that says he was involved in the hot coffee scandal with Grand Theft Auto.
He was one of the people calling for like, this is obscenity, remove it from the shelves. Like, even people are like, you realize you have to hack the game and no one can just do this. Like, you have to do way too much work. We have the internet. You can just Google boobs, or you can spend like 6 hours of work to unlock this terrible.
Or step one, learn to program.
Yeah.
Step two, yeah.
But yeah, that's
I forgot actually that part is that the two things he hated most in life were guns that he wasn't trafficking himself and video games.
He hates competition. And children learning how to program.
Yeah, I forgot he also got that one law passed in California that was overturned by the Supreme Court that required like an ID for selling video games or something like that.
Which doesn't make sense because M-rated video games require IDs anyway, because shops are supposed to card you, but whatever.
So it would only have increased the requirement for Mario games, I guess?
I think it's one of those moral outrage laws that doesn't really accomplish anything.
It was. I believe the current ID is not a law. It's a like self-regulation thing for the industry.
Oh, yeah.
And he passed a law that like the state said you can go to jail if you don't check IDs for selling video games. And the Supreme Court's like, no.
1 second.
He's quite a character.
I'm texting Joel because he says he wants to call into the show later. So
cool.
All right. So that's that story. What was I going to say about Leland Yee? Oh shoot, this isn't.
There's so many things you could say.
This is good radio here. Oh yeah. People not understanding video games. Old people not understanding video games. Just this week, Glenn Beck, friend of crazy people everywhere.
Yes, this is so
did
good.
a big segment on his show talking about how Watch Dogs was teaching the young youth of America how to hack, and it was teaching them that. He said he was worried that it was teaching them that it's okay to have this surveillance nanny 1984 state, and which is exactly the opposite of.
It's the opposite of the premise of the game, essentially.
And in the game, you hack using an app on your smartphone by pointing at things and pressing the hack button. Like,
press A to hack.
Pro tip, guys: if you want to hack things, okay, you don't need Watch Dogs. I got you right here. That little blue X button right there. You just hold that down when you drive by things, and you are an elite hacker.
Wow, will that let me skip red lights?
Exactly. Yeah, you might cause a few accidents, but yeah.
My controller's a Logitech. Is that going to make it a problem?
Ooh, you might have some driver issues.
Oh well.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's low-hanging fruit, making fun of Glenn Beck. But anyway, it's
we got to hit both sides of the aisle here.
That's true. That's true. We have to be fair. True. We have to be fair.
D and R, idiots all around.
We don't want to get on these stupid Republicans afraid of video games train. That's a long podcast.
It's a whole podcast,
but it's a fun one.
The outraged old white men podcast.
Hey, I'm looking forward to being one of those outraged old white men one day.
That's fine. That's fine. Actually, it'll be nice. Okay, this is going to sound bad. When all those people are dead. It'll be nice when our generation is old people. It'll be nice to have people who like understand what the internet is. And I mean, with all these conversations we're having about net neutrality, it's really sad. A lot of the people having these conversations don't understand the internet. Like, people are quizzing them on stuff and they don't understand how email works, which is only like 20 years old at this point. I mean, they don't understand how a lot of really important things in regards to the internet work, and all of, their young aides, the people who fetch their coffee, are probably like, please let me help you.
I can imagine that there were probably some really young...
No, they're too busy typing their emails for them.
Yeah. I'm sure there were some really bright-eyed young staffers on Glenn Beck's show just sort of quietly putting their hands over their faces during his entire thing.
Well, unless they really drunk the Kool-Aid enough that they're like, no, this is really a thing. I remember when the whole Obama's birth certificate thing was a big national news item for like 2 years, or way longer than something so boring should ever be a news item. InfoWars. Have you guys heard of InfoWars? Again,
No.
the
Yes.
low-hanging fruit. What's his name? Alex Jones. Okay, Glenn Beck is kind of a conspiracy theorist. Alex Jones is crazy.
There's a video of him out there. I've seen it on r/cringe of him wearing full-on Joker like face paint, like a Joker suit. He's pretty overweight too, handing out flyers with Obama's face on it as the Joker while yelling at cops as his cameraman follows him around the city. Like, he is just a total. He's a character.
And he's like a very much a fearmongerer. like if anything happens, it's a giant government conspiracy. Everything is a false flag operation designed to lure the American sheeple into, I don't know, fluoride slavery or something. Like it's every week there's a new thing.
Now my new favorite term, fluoride.
Right. So anyway, when the Obama birth certificate thing happened, he had this young guy on his show. He said the Photoshop expert on his staff was sitting there telling everyone how this thing is a forgery for all. And I know I'm a graphic designer, and I was sitting there going, wait, none of the things he's saying are true. He's
listen, I can see these pixels, and
he's literally
those are false pixels.
Yeah, he's just making things up. I'm like, that's not how this program works. But people believe, Photoshop. Photoshop is the magic wizard's potion where you can make everyone's dreams come true. So,
well, that is kind of true.
It is if you're really good at it. But anyway, so
what is it going to be when we're old? Like, and the kids are. What are we going to be yelling at them about? Like, get out. Take off your Oculus and look around your room for a chance. Or
stop hacking your brother's brain and making him throw up. I don't know.
From your smartphone.
From the smartphone in your head.
Yeah. The single mental
people will just have
press.
glowing Apple logos right there in their forehead.
Cool.
Well, oh yeah, you like Apple stuff. So I saw your eyes light up. I would try it. I mean, you don't know it's bad.
I mean, I'd let everybody know that I had an Apple Pen, right?
Actually, that's
cool.
the important part of owning an Apple product is letting everyone else know. So
then you got to replace your forehead every 2 years.
Yeah,
I'd replace my forehead right now.
Why? It's so young and wrinkle free. You got to ride that forehead out. All right. So, The Witcher 3 coming out. It was delayed until 2015. Are you guys pumped about this?
Okay,
I ordered today.
I am so pumped.
Have you guys seen the
about
trailer?
Witcher 3.
Have you seen the trailer? The new one today.
I watched it this afternoon.
Okay, everyone in stream.
How many times?
Is going to watch
I've
it
only
right
watched
now.
it once.
Okay, well then I feel good. I don't have to send you guys a link. I can just drop it right into the stream. So, everybody, we are now going to watch the Witcher 3 new trailer that came out today. Enjoy.
Once we were many. Now we are few. Hunters, killers of the world's filth. Witchers, the ultimate killing machines. Among us, a legend. The one they call Geralt of Rivia, the White Wolf.
We meet again, Witcher.
Your Imperial Majesty.
She's returned, Geralt. After all these years.
Are you sure it's her?
Yes. And she's in danger. Witnesses claim the Wild Hunt follows her. You must find her.
And when I do, what then?
I shall give her what she deserves.
White Wolf, at last. I come for her of the prophecy. Every decision you make will bring devastation. Each choice will lead to a greater evil.
So, that is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And it looks pretty darn awesome. And it is officially, they announced the release date today. It is launching February 24th, 2015.
Oh, it's such a long time. Such a long time.
It is a long way from now, but it's going to launch simultaneously on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. All three versions are identical, offering more than 100 hours of open-world Witcher gameplay, which makes me extremely excited.
It is next gen only. I'm so excited.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, there's no way you can make that.
So I take it then that you guys are pretty big fans of The Witcher 2.
And The Witcher.
I've read all the books, all the English versions of the books too.
Okay, you both beat me then. You both beat me.
I love the entire series.
I didn't get that into the first Witcher game, but I decided to give the second one a shot because it was so well regarded, and it is probably my favorite PC RPG of all time.
Nice.
I absolutely love that game, and so I'm really looking forward to this one. I've played Witcher 2 twice through, and I rarely do that with RPGs, and it's just a gorgeous, amazing game. I love that game.
Have you did you play the enhanced edition of the original one, or
yes?
Okay,
yeah, I didn't
catch
play it until it had been out for a while.
Okay.
So by the time I got it, it was already the enhanced edition.
I discovered that game. It's the only period in my life where I've had a time. I was off from school for winter break, and it was the only winter break where I didn't have a job. So I had nothing to do all day, and I installed it when I got home. I was like, let's give this a try. And then every day, it was just like 6 or 7 hours a day of nothing but The Witcher.
In my body.
And it was
I haven't had
glorious.
that since Fallout.
Yeah.
Which, Fallout 3?
It's
New Vegas.
New Vegas.
Nice.
Dave's a big New
But
Vegas
Fallout 3
fan.
also.
killer game. I'm really looking forward to this one because it seems to sort of expand on the lore a little bit. As far as I can tell from the trailer, it's got Yennefer coming back, or
Yes.
like that. I'm pretty sure that woman in the trailer was Yennefer.
It looks...
the one with the white hair.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Oh,
looked like
that's
her.
actually Siri.
Oh,
Pretty
okay.
huge character from the books. She is going to be an amazing character. I don't want to say anything else, but
Okay.
holy crap.
I haven't read the book, so don't
Yeah,
spoil
just-
anything for
did
me.
the,
but-
if she's in the game's going to be nuts.
awesome.
Did the king sound like he was voiced by Tywin Lannister to anyone else?
Yes, that's Hugh Dancy,
Is it-
right?
Is that his name?
Is that his name?
I can't remember his name.
I think that's his name. Anyway, yes, I'm pretty sure that's him.
So
or it
awesome.
sounded like him.
Really, they could just...
He is phenomenal.
Everyone from Game of Thrones, they could just get to voice that show, voice that game, and it'd be pretty good.
It's such a crime there hasn't been a decent Game of Thrones game, even though there have been at least 2 games. I think both of them have been big
Well,
disappointments.
Telltale's going to do their
disappointment.
Game of Thrones stuff.
Right, I heard about that, and then I forgot all about it. You've just reminded me.
Yeah. So
I love Telltale.
we can
games.
assume it's going to be of similar quality to The Walking Dead, but that may not be like, I want a chivalry medieval warfare mod called Game of like I want that type of Game of Thrones. I want the hack everyone up. I want to play as the Mountain. That's that's my ideal Game of Thrones game. I mean, what are you going to do in the game? It's going to be like a text-based RPG where you wander around King's Landing backstabbing everyone. Like, I mean,
You could
guess
play
I'd
as
play that.
Period. I'd probably give it a try.
but then you play as some characters and really all they do for like 30 hours is just walk. I mean, that's think about it. That's like the last 3 seasons of the show. That's been, Arya's story is.
I kind of want a dragon rearing simulator.
Now, see, that's the thing. That's the problem with making a Game of Thrones game. Is some of the players super boring. Some of them would be like, if you can ride a dragon around lighting cities on fire, it's like Lair, but good. Lair, wasn't that was one of the PS3 launch games, wasn't it? It was the horrible dragon combat game.
I think you might be thinking of Horde.
No.
No?
I think it was called Lair, and it was one of the only games you could use the 6-axis on the PS3. Like, you tilted it to control your dragon.
Somehow missed
Sounds
that.
awesome.
Well, most people did. It was universally
Yeah.
panned as being horrible. But, yeah. So anyway.
Okay, yeah.
But they're going to have a couple different versions of the game. You can get things that come with, like, the soundtrack, maps, stickers, art books. And even one version has a statue of The Witcher, of Geralt, fighting a griffin. So if you want that, that is a thing that is available.
I watched the behind the scenes video that they posted on that today, and the creation of that was pretty cool. They created that statue after like 100 different concepts in their like model studio at the game studio, and then it's cast in polystone, so it actually feels and weighs like stone. And then they're all hand painted too.
Wow.
Not like, yeah, it's
It
not
looks beautiful.
machine painted.
Every time
Yeah.
I see a collector's edition of a game I really like, I really want to buy it, but then I think, what on earth am I
Yeah.
going to do with this stuff? It's just going to sit there. Like, I'll flip through the art book and go, oh, that's nice.
I want the art book really bad.
But then I have a weird
really
statue
bad.
I have to explain to everybody who ever comes to my house. Hey, what's
And
that?
Why do you have a statue of a shirtless man fighting a bird? Like,
It's a griffin. He's half lion. You don't understand me, Mom.
That's my
Geralt isn't a man,
Thor.
he's a mutant.
He's not a witch, Mom. He's a witcher. It's different. Yes, he does use magic and kill stuff. It's
a
different.
griffin, not a pigeon.
I'm pretty confident if I bought anything like that, my wife would leave me. So I'm not even going to try.
I think my wife would be okay with it as long as it was like in my office, in a cabinet or something.
With a opaque front, so you can't see it unless it's open.
So
You can open the
Dang it,
door
I was digging
occasionally.
through your sock drawer and I found a man fighting a griffin.
it's like that's for secret nerd time. So,
But you get the beautiful little Witcher pendant, which, you know,
you can wear it.
vibrate your shirt whenever another game comes out.
It'll match your fedora.
Yep. You know, I am a little tempted by the art book, though. Those games are absolutely gorgeous.
I do like art books, but again, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like, I can't leave it on my coffee table. Would you like to see the super high-res paintings of all the naked women from the Witcher games? Or, like,
and the scarred pectoral.
yeah, it's like, I just don't know what I do with that.
Yeah.
I actually bought the large-sized art book for BioShock 2, which is amazing. But there are some horrific mutated people in that.
You bought the art book for the
That is
worst
not a-
BioShock game. Congratulations. Oh.
So is this beard new for Witcher 3? I mean,
Yeah.
did they put on Geralt?
Yeah, it looks like it is. Like, he looks like he's even a little bit younger. Dave, you're freezing
He's
up,
got a
by the
little
way.
color in the beard, which is unusual.
Yeah, Geralt looks significantly different in each game. They've made him more handsome. In the first game, he looked bad. I think their facial modeling was just kind of crummy. But it's gotten a lot better. But
The mutation's supposed to like do weird stuff with his features too, like pretty constantly.
all right, so that's that story. I'm excited. I'm going to order that. Okay, Star Citizen, a game I am super pumped about. They had a meeting last week where they were going to release their dogfighting module, which was supposed to be out earlier this year, but then it wasn't ready, and then it was supposed to be ready last week, and it wasn't ready, and it actually is ready, and they released it yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And I played that today. After like a 2-hour patching process, I think their servers were buckling under the load of the entire internet. That is pretty fun. Now, it's called Arena Commander, and you just go in and fight waves of drones. And it took a couple minutes to get used to fighting in a 3-dimensional space, in space, where there's no gravity or reference points, really. But once I got used to that, it's pretty easy to fly with a mouse. I have the slowest, crappiest, cheapest ship in the game, because I wasn't going to drop like $200 on a pre-order for a game that doesn't exist to get the fast ship. So I've got like the Honda Civic ship with the tiny lasers, but it's a lot of fun. You've got missiles, you've got a couple lasers, and you can just kill these waves of things. And it's pretty. Like, you can tell some stuff is still very much in development, but it lets you just get your hands dirty. And I really like the targeting computers, and like the whole heads-up display is really cool because they don't really have a HUD on your. The HUD's not on your actual screen. It's on your cockpit. So when you need information, you look at the actual HUD while you're flying around.
That's awesome.
And it performs really well. I was at 60 FPS the entire time, which for as good as this game looks now, but there's only like 6 or 7 ships on screen at a time, and we've been promised dozens. So we'll see. But it runs pretty well. It's a lot of fun. If you pre-ordered Star Citizen, you probably already know about this. If you don't, then I will post a video. I have a video rendered out. I'll be posting the next day or so, and you can check it out. But
I am now waiting for that video.
Yeah.
I really want to see this.
Me too. I'm really excited about that game, but I did not pre-order it, and I don't know if I think I'm gonna kind of hold off and wait for the full game. I never really liked the sort of like, you know, getting a game piecemeal.
Right.
I didn't even really like Minecraft in that way, but I am definitely excited about that. When the full game comes out, I'm going to be all over it.
yeah, it was one of those things where I pre-ordered it knowing that there's a very good chance I wouldn't like it or it wouldn't even come out or anything, but I'm such a huge sci-fi fan. To me, this looks like Battlestar Galactica, the game, and that's really...
That's awesome.
That's all I just want it to exist, even if it's not even any good. I want space games to come back. We've been so long without good space games.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right.
I've always loved space games. I grew up on, what was that, Escape Velocity? that you and me played, Reagan?
Oh, we come from it's like we're from a parallel world as far as games are concerned. Our family, we were Macintosh all the way as far as computers, so we didn't get to play any of the interesting PC games from the 90s or that era. And also we were Sega kids, and so we didn't get to play any of the interesting Nintendo stuff of that era. And so I've had a lot of catching up to do over the last few years, trying to kind of open up my horizons. What he's talking about is a game that nobody who didn't own a Mac in the 90s played.
That's a small group of people.
Yeah.
It was. With going out of business sign in Apple's window through that whole decade.
Yeah.
But that game was fantastic. If that tiny corner of forgotten gaming history is interesting to you, Escape Velocity is a fantastic game. There we go.
I wonder if I can find like
some guy watching was like, "Oh my god, my favorite." But everyone else is like, "No."
And hey, guy, we like you.
Memories.
For me, I guess that would be Descent. That was my early. That and the first what's it called? Rebel Assault, the Star Wars X-Wing, first X-Wing game.
I never got to play that. Looks cool.
Pretty fun. I've spent a lot of time dying in Beggar's Canyon because I was a 6-year-old who was bad at joysticks. But okay.
They take grown-up thumbs.
Battlefield 4, one of the worst game launches, maybe of all time, coupled with some of the worst PR handling, maybe of all time.
Let's not forget SimCity, though.
SimCity was bad,
crowning achievement.
but it was really bad for like a month, and we're going on like month seven of Battlefield 4. But they released a patch this week that honestly surprised me a lot. Now, Dave, I played it while you were busy crashing your computer over and over. Have you gotten a chance to hop in and play it yet?
For an hour, and then my computer blue screen because of that stupid bad dim stick. But yeah, I got an hour in at least.
So what are your impressions?
I was telling Edgar, I did something in Battlefield 4 that has not happened since Battlefield 3.
You had fun.
I took fire. He said the exact same thing. I took fire, got a hit marker, and then actually was able to respond and like turn and engage the threat, and I won the firefight.
Nice.
Like the server was that responsive. It was on a hardcore server too. Like that has never happened to me in Battlefield 4. It's like you get one hit marker and like your frames skip for like 3 frames and you're just dead in the kill cam all of a sudden.
Well, really all we know is it was responsive for you.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy on the other end was maybe lagged out.
That's a fair point because right after the guy did type "really" into the chat. So
that's true. You never know. But it was smooth the entire time I was playing it. I had one small rubber banding incident that was like a second, and that was it. But other than that, like it played better than Battlefield 4 has ever played for me. Now, Battlefield, it kind of goes back and forth. Some days it's better, some days it's worse. So I'm not ready to call it fixed yet or anything. But I was very surprised, and kudos to DICE. I mean, we're way past the too little too late stage, but kudos to them for still sticking with it at least somewhat and working on it. It seems like they're really making traction now. You do have to go into your options and up your, what's it called, the network refresh rate? What are they calling it?
Network frequency updates.
Something like that. You got to go into your game options and you have to bump that up. Bump it all the way up to high if you have decent internet, and just if it doesn't perform well, bump it down. But that ups the tick rate of the server, or that you're communicating with the server, and you will have a much better experience, and it's a lot more fun. Now, this news item, Dave, did you just add this one?
Yes, I did.
Okay, hold on, let me cue it up. Battlefield Hardline just had a trailer that was apparently released very recently, and we are going to play it live. We have not seen this before, so hopefully it only goes to 720p.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that, but...
All right, we're going to watch the new Battlefield Hardline trailer that just released, and then we will discuss. So here we go.
Look away, children.
Oh yeah, pumping music. Not all like Call of Duty. Okay. So
That was more of a teaser.
yeah.
California, as imagined by Senator Leland Yee.
Oh, I'm sorry, Reagan and Shane. Were you guys able to see that?
I have Googled it.
Okay.
And I'm probably out of sync with you.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. I don't know. I mean, it looks kind of like a Call of Duty game. Even like the music and everything is straight out of the Call of Duty trailer playbook. I don't really have any thoughts other than that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a teaser. I don't know. I still like the concept of a police-themed Battlefield game on a smaller scale, but this is just like cinematics from the campaign. It's not much to actually figure out, like, is the gameplay going to be any fun? So, yep.
Hold on.
It looks like Frostbite.
I was typing something. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. E3's coming up. I'm sure we're going to see a gameplay demo. I'll wait to have any big judgments until then, but maybe it's good. Who knows?
Oh, and don't forget on the 9th, the YouTube videos descend from the Los Angeles event. It was about 15 people that got flown out to play it, so there'll be a swarm of videos coming out, I'm sure.
I've seen channels that have like 15 videos up about Hardline already. There's not that much information, but they all have like Battlefield Hardline beta? ? Clickbait!
There was one guy who had an entire video. It was 7 minutes long, and the contents of the actual video were 3 still captures from the one that EA pulled, the leaked one. It just cycled between the 3 stills for 7 minutes while he talked about like a bullet point list of known leaked info. That was the entire video. It was the 3 images over and over.
Great.
All right, we are now moving on to mail. Mail time! Our first bit of... Sorry.
Thanks, Joel.
You can write into the show at casualshenanigans@gmail.com if you would like to be a part of the show. Our first bit of mail comes from Terry, who writes to us and says, "Hola, do you need a job? Sorry for unsolicited email." No, thank you, Terry. We're good.
That was it.
I feel like that's spam. No, we have a real email, but he emailed asking if we wanted a job, so I don't know. It's listener mail. We read it on air.
You never know. You should ask him how much it pays.
Okay, so we have a real one from Tristan. He says, "Hey guys, I'm thinking about upgrading my first gaming PC. My current system specs are this. AMD Athlon X4 750K. It's a basic AMD quad-core processor. Overclocked to 4.02 gigahertz, so he's squeaking out that extra 2 megahertz there.
It matters.
A Radeon 7770. It's not a 770. It's a 7770. 1 gigabyte. 8 gigs of RAM, 600 watt power supply, an MSI ATX micro motherboard, and a Western Digital 1 terabyte hard drive. Here is his dilemma. He's thinking about upgrading the CPU or the GPU, and he's having a hard time making the decision. If he upgrades the CPU, he wants an Intel Core i5 4670K with a Asus Maximus Hero motherboard. Very nice motherboard, very nice processor. But if he upgrades the GPU, he wants an MSI GTX 760. He said, "Can you help me decide if you have any better suggestions? My price range is between $300 to $450. He wants to try to keep the price down if he can, which is why he chose the 760. So, does anyone have any wisdom for our friend Tristan?
The CPU he described is the exact same one that I have, and it's been fine. I can't say anything really exciting about
The
it.
4670K or the 750K?
I'm sorry,
Which
what?
Which CPU do you have? The
Intel.
Okay, the 4670K.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome processor. That would be a nice upgrade. We're assuming he mostly wants to game, in which case a 7770, that's hard to get by saying. That's a crappy card. No offense.
I would probably do the graphics card first.
Yeah, I would
probably, because you can always do that CPU and motherboard switch out later and keep that same graphics card. I think you'll get more oomph more quickly from the upgraded
Didn't Intel
graphics
just
card.
delay their new processors, or maybe that was mobile processor, something that.
Yeah, the Intel has delayed their next round. What's the name?
Maxwell?
It's not Haswell.
Maxwell?
Yes, I think so.
It's the last clock.
Yeah.
Maxwell House.
But for $300 to $450, that's a pretty big range. For $450, I would get an R9 290, which you can actually get for about $350 on Amazon. because that's going to be between a 780 and a 780 Ti. I have one. It is fantastic. If you want to go uber cheap, you can pick up one that someone abused for Litecoin mining. You can find those on eBay for like $250 right now. So, but
wow.
Your power supply will
for
run
as long as it lasts.
Well, but if the fan burns up, then you can just get a replacement heatsink and fan, like a nice aftermarket one, for like $90. So you're still really coming out on top. Unless the CPU itself burns up, but that almost never happens. Like, when's the last time you killed a graphics card?
Yeah, unless the fan dies and you're like, no card, you're gonna work for me right now.
Just blow on it.
Yeah.
So that I'd recommend upgrading. If you wanted to stick with NVIDIA or something, you could. The GTX 770 or 760 is an okay card, but for your price range, I would minimum get a 770. Like, it's gonna your processor's gonna bottleneck it a tiny bit, but you figure you want to keep this card for a couple more years, take it to your next processor for your next build. You could also get like a $300 card, and with the rest of your $150 budget, get a solid state hard drive, because if you're running everything on a Western Digital Blue 1 terabyte, you don't know what fast is yet. You'll feel like you got a new processor if you get a solid state hard drive, because everything will just work quickly. And you can
everything feels less crappy when you don't have load screens.
Exactly, and you can get a 240 gig for about $130 on sale now. So that would fit right within your budget. Spend $300 on a graphics card or $250 on a graphics card, whatever, and get a small SSD. The Samsung 840 EVO is an excellent choice if you don't have one picked out. And that's what I would do. That's what I would recommend.
Definitely.
But if you have any more questions about that, please let us know. All right, so that is that. Now, for our main topic, you may wonder why we have these two similar-looking gentlemen with us tonight.
Hey.
Who just beeped?
Sorry, that was my
Okay,
watch.
that's okay. Oh, you're like, it's time to go.
Nope.
Enough of this.
Okay. Our guests tonight are the hosts of The Short Game. Now, if I tell you about The Short Game, I will not do as good of a job. So I'm opening the floor up to you guys. Give us like...
Wait, The Short Game, is this about Joel and his gaming, perhaps?
Give us like...
It's a golf podcast. We talk about putting for the most part.
Actually, there probably is one of those. What is The Short Game?
All right. The Short Game is, first of all, it's a relatively new podcast. We've only been doing it for about 10 episodes now. And we are, well, long story short, it's a show about short games, as you can kind of guess from the title. We're pretty recently
it's about
I was
fitting games into your life, you know.
Yeah. My experience has been that as I got busier with my life, I like completing games. I like playing for story a lot of the time. I'm not as big of an online gamer. I think that kind of goes back to that history I was talking about with not having a PC
to play on
back
your
in the
own
90s.
because you never knew anyone else who had the games you did.
That's right.
Yes, we had these weird games that no one had, and so I really like playing games for story. I like completing them, and so it's really hard to do that sometimes when you've got these games. Like, as much as I love The Witcher 2, it took me a year of 2-hour gaming sessions fit in once a week in order to beat that game, and then I beat it again on a long weekend within that was pretty quick. But the show is really meant to kind of act as a kind of a place to go as a resource to hear details about games that are going to be something that you can pick up and enjoy and really get through and get a lot out of, and really then be done with and be able to try something else and within a short period of time. So we've been featuring a lot of games from the sort of indie game scene and other sort of smaller experiences. Shane, do you have anything to say about the show? Sorry, I'm not very good at selling my own stuff. No,
you should.
Here.
You should. It's a fun show. I like it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's... for me, the show was a way to just kind of connect with my brother, because we're on different coasts now, or different parts of the country, and a way to kind of
we should mention that we are two of the three hosts of The Short Game. Our really good friend Nate wasn't able to make it for this show tonight, so he is at a funeral. Really lame. Yeah. And,
Party pooper.
I know, jackass.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but it's been really nice to be able to kind of get into games that are a little bit more off the beaten path. Some of the games we're talking about are games that are a little older, but that I had missed, or some of them are just sort of games that I guess my favorite so far was our episode on FTL.
I love
Have
FTL.
You guys played FTL?
I love FTL.
Oh my gosh, we did that episode right when the iPad version came out,
along with the enhanced.
To keep it topical.
What do they call the
enhanced edition, where
enhanced
they
edition.
dropped all the new kinds of ships and races and all that, and it's definitely been a great kind of way to try out smaller games that I'm able to just sort of get in and out of in between these shows we're doing every week.
Mm-hmm. So here's how this came about. I have an addiction to Steam sales, and I think this is probably a familiar story for a lot of
yes,
your listeners. And every time one of these things comes around, or a Humble Bundle, or any of these other, mass wallet attacks, I'd go and buy 15 games, and I got to the point recently where my my Steam backlog was staring me in the face and looking like something, looks like it was going to topple over on top of me. And so my strategy was, I'm going to attack this Steam backlog. I'm going to go through it shortest to longest. And so I started looking for resources on what are good games that are also short, and there's not a lot out there. I found a really good website.
So it's not just quantity, it's also quality.
Yes. So I wasn't just looking for the shortest games on my list. I was looking for games that I could enjoy, that were not going to take me a month of evenings to complete. So I found a few good websites out there. If you're interested in kind of doing the same, one really good resource that I've used a lot is a website called howlongtobeat.com.
How Long to Beat. I will type that in the notes.
Mm-hmm. How Long to Beat is a sort of a forum where people can post how long it took them to beat games, and they actually do some really interesting statistics. People go on and post what platform they played the game on, whether they were playing just the main plot, or the main plot plus extras, or a total completionist with all of the collectibles or achievements or whatever else might be in the game. And you can really get a sense of how long a game that you're thinking about playing is actually going to take you, based on usually at least a dozen or so people's responses. So that's a really good resource, and I've been kind of trying to cross-reference that with all of the great indie games of the last couple of decades that have really good critical acclaim, but maybe not a huge audience, or huge audiences, some of them, but things that maybe I had missed. To give you kind of a sense of what we've been talking about lately, our most recent episode was on VVVVVV. Actually, some people just say V. I don't know. How do you?
I've never said it out loud.
Yeah,
I know, right?
You really want to say it out loud. But that game is an amazing game, and I've played it at least 3 times because it's so short, and it's just a great experience to go back to and start it again. So we want to really focus on games that are short, easy to pick up, give you a great experience that you can actually complete at some point, and also kind of to be a resource for kind of a discussion of game design. What makes these games so great? Because if we were just talking about, hey, this is a good game, you should go check it out.
One of our challenges has been we get so into the talking about the design of the games that our reviews sometimes get close to the length of some of the games.
Yeah, you were telling us before the show that you were playing, what, a 2-hour game, and your episode on it was an hour and a half, hour 45?
Octodad Dadliest Catch, which is a fantastic, weird, cartoony, great game. One of my favorite episodes we've done so far. Probably not gonna win any Game of the Year awards,
but
it's
a funny concept.
Really
the concept is so hysterical. Like I enjoy hearing about this game. I haven't played it at all, but I just love hearing about it.
Have you seen its trailer?
It's just
it's kind of like a QWOP with a plot.
QWOP.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen QWOP?
It's
it's a web-based
QWOP.
game.
But it's sorry. Go ahead, Reagan.
QWOP is a game where essentially your entire goal is to walk straight forward, but you use the Q, W, O, and P keys to control the thighs and the calves of the runner.
I'm looking at this now. This seems...
It's a little, also in a way, kind of like Surgeon Simulator.
Where
Yeah.
Okay.
You played that, in that it's really a game where it's really just designed to work against you. You have a very simple, relatively speaking, task, but you've got these controls that are just absolutely designed to make you suck at it, and how that kind of creates this really funny sort of situation.
Yeah, that translates to Octodad, where your controls for controlling this octopus man in disguise. He's doing something basic like shopping for groceries, but you're gonna wreak havoc because you are flailing constantly and you can't control yourself.
On a gamepad, you have to literally control each leg separately, and also you have control over one of his arms, which you have to use the sticks to control both vertically and horizontally, so that you can grab objects. It takes a lot of work to even just walk in a straight line, but it's amazing.
QWOP. I'm gonna add that to the show notes so I can include a link for people who have now heard this and are now interested.
I can't believe you haven't heard of QWOP before.
Oh, you too, Dave? Just stabbed me in the back there.
I've played it before.
All right, rub it in.
That's right. What now?
QWOP is a truly short game because most people will play it for 15 seconds and then rage quit.
Well, it's kind of like FTL. I think most people, their FTL experience is about 10 minutes, which is about 3 restarts of them screaming, "Why?" and then just dropping it and leaving.
I paid for this.
Oh, I love FTL. FTL is one of the only, I get called a roguelike. I guess they're just supposed to beat you to death straight out of the gate, and the whole goal is to live as long as you can. It's one of the only ones I've ever stuck with long enough to learn the mechanics, and the feeling of when I beat it. It was one of the most rewarding victory screens I've ever seen.
That's a truly great game. We have a whole episode on it where we really tear it apart and talk about what makes it such a great game, and I am unfortunately terrible at it, but I was joined by my good friend Nate and Shane, who both have some skills, and we really go into depth about the strategy of the game. So if you're interested in getting better at FTL,
so if I go deep nerd with you for a second here, Shane, what's your favorite FTL strategy? Like, what's your sure thing strategy to beat FTL?
There's no sure thing strategy to beat FTL. The game is too random, but I think my overall strategy for it is boost the dodge as high as you possibly can to avoid as many incoming shots as possible, and the whole rest of the game gets so much easier at that point. And then I like, just for fun, I love to do a boarding strategy. That's mine. It's as good as any other way to beat the game, but it's just so much more satisfying, and you get a lot more scrap. That
was my plan. Is I went with a 4 Mantis boarding party. It took probably 25 tries of doing this before I was able to finesse at what galaxy I needed to be upgrading stuff in, or what system, when stuff needed upgrades, what I shouldn't upgrade. But yeah, it was very rewarding. When I got to the final ship, though, it was pretty much just pausing every 5 seconds to lay out the next set of commands to keep everything going. But
oh yeah, if you're playing the boarding game, you are going to have to pause every 2 or 3 seconds of real time or more.
It's micromanaging at its finest.
It's just so much to keep track of. Every single guy and their health and all the systems and every bad guy. And
somehow, even though you
destroy everything,
somehow, even though you've got this this micromanaging to do, it still manages to feel really fast and thrilling because it's you can take that thing off of pause any moment and things will just happen. But you can pause and really just take a little bit of time to plan out your moves. It's just an amazing game.
I also love FTL in that it's one of those games where you can sometimes you die in 20 seconds and you have no idea what happened. Everything was going great. You launch into a system, you land in an asteroid field. They dump a couple missiles on you immediately. You're on fire and everyone dies. But there are those also ones where it's just a slow death that's dragged out over 5 minutes, and the whole time you're thinking, I can do it, but inside you just know this is it. This is going down. Oh, I love that game so much.
That's the fun of the game.
It is.
It's a great game to lose at.
It's a great game to lose a couple times, to walk away for a week, so I can keep my sanity and then come back to.
It's also a really fun game to watch streamed on Twitch. It's one of those games that it's great to see somebody who's really good at the game play the game and tell you about their strategy as they're doing it. I'm not usually, I don't watch a whole lot of Twitch, but that game is just riveting to watch on Twitch if you get somebody who's really doing a good job of talking you through their strategy.
I should look that up. I've never seen someone who's really good at FTL play it. I had to look those up on Twitch.
Yeah, believe it or not, the people that are really good at it can reliably beat the game, and that's so far beyond my skill level. Our co-host Nate is one of the better players of FTL that I have actually talked to, and he has managed to get through the game and is now pretty good at beating it, and is going through and unlocking all the ships. I don't know if you've gone through and unlocked a lot of ships in the game.
A lot of them require such specific goals that I'm just not that interested. Like, I don't want to go through and do that specific thing to get the goal.
Yeah, some of them, like the crystal ship, you have to hit a very specific sequence of random events that if you miss it on like sector 6 or something, you haven't seen this particular random event, you might as well just restart the game. So and that's how those roguelikes are.
I've gotten to where if I get four Manuses within the first 2 or 3 systems, which isn't super common, but I can normally make it happen like 25% of the time, then I can beat it about 75% of the time. But that's with that one strategy. Like if you want me to change any aspect of it, I'm hopeless. But I can game the system really hard on one tiny little strategy. But your podcast seems like it's going really well. Did you know you're in the new and noteworthy section on video games on iTunes?
What,
yeah,
really?
I went to iTunes to the video game section today, and I don't know how they calculate it, so hopefully it's still up when you guys go look at it, or I'm going to feel like an idiot.
No, I didn't know that.
You guys
That's
are
fantastic.
the 4th one that popped up. And they normally feature, feature a bunch. They feature like 50 that have come out within the past.
I'm frantically opening iTunes right now.
Come out like the last 2 months or something. But yeah, your artwork popped up like immediately.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, well, we've been working our asses on it. It's been a lot of fun to do. We really do a lot of work on the editing and planning. So it's one of these types of shows that we hope that each episode is going to sort of stand as something that you can go back and listen to. We're not trying to do the news of the day or be topical. I listen to a lot of shows like this one that do that, but our show, we're trying a little bit of a different tack. I was a little bit inspired by other great podcasts, and I will now tell you about 2 other fantastic podcasts that you will go and listen to instead of ours, and then this whole exercise will have been not. But if you haven't already been listening to Retronauts,
I have not.
which is Retronauts is a long-running podcast that deeply inspired ours. They started out as a part of the 1UP network, and then obviously things went south, and they recently came back as the result of a Kickstarter project. What on the internet hasn't been the result of a Kickstarter project?
Reading Rainbow is coming back because of a Kickstarter project. So,
sign me up.
You hadn't heard about that?
Future.
No,
I did.
Yeah,
oh my
Reading
gosh.
Rainbow is coming back. So.
One of the big goals, if he got enough money, was going to be he'll do an episode wearing the Geordie LaForge eye mask. But that Kickstarter got $1 million in less than a day.
It's nostalgia. That's how Kickstarter works. You could go on like, I want to make an iPod case. It looks like a cassette, and you have a whole bunch of hipsters going, "I'll spend $10." Like, it doesn't matter if it's good. I mean, that's all you have to do.
We should do a Kickstarter for our show, Shane.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at us right now on the new and noteworthy iTunes
are you still up
page,
there?
and we're still
Awesome.
up there. And can our Kickstarter be far behind?
Yeah.
The crappy thing about
sounds like we gotta.
Oh,
sorry,
go ahead.
We don't need
Guest
any
goes
money
first.
to do what
Guest
we're
goes
doing.
first.
So.
Well, we're. I'm shocked that we're on New and Noteworthy. That's actually, you're the first person who's told me that. Thanks for the news.
The frustrating thing about iTunes, like, that's good. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like that was bad. The frustrating thing is that iTunes won't give you any metrics. So as far as like trying to figure out how did that happen and can you replicate anything, you have no idea. You're up there. Like, could it be random chance? I don't know what your listener numbers are, and I won't ask you to divulge them on air, but I don't know if you need to hit like a certain number per episode of growth or whatever else. I never even thought to check it. So I'm assuming we were never on the new and noteworthy section because we weren't like meteoric growth or anything. So I have no idea how they calculate any of it, but being up there means a lot of new people see you. So maybe you'll get a nice bump in your next, I don't know where you host if they give you good stats, but
we get okay stats. We do our own hosting through, we've got a WordPress site, and we're doing our hosting with statistics through Blueberry, Blueberry, whatever. So they give us okay stats, but there's a long delay on them.
Do they tell you where your traffic comes from?
a little bit, but we
mostly from our immediate family.
Yeah.
Well, because if it can tell you iTunes.
Well, I've downloaded the show on 5 devices myself, so
Boost.
yeah.
Yeah, but if you can find out how many come from iTunes, it'd be interesting to see if you get a nice bump from being in the new and noteworthy section. So
that'd be fantastic. So I actually wanted to kind of turn this around and ask you guys if you had thoughts about shorter games that you'd enjoyed over the last, question mark number of years.
Yeah, let me bring up my Steam list so I can. I like you, am a victim of many Steam sales and have. I'll just go through a few. Braid. I don't finish most of these. A lot of these I try. I play for a few hours and then something else shiny drifts past. But
I know exactly what you mean, and that's what I've been kind of trying to counteract. I'm trying to essentially change my habits about games, because I do that too. I get a Steam sale. I have 10 new games drop into my my library, and I would play all of them to 10%.
Yeah.
And I'm trying
20 minutes of each.
Yeah, I'm really trying to turn that around.
Braid I enjoyed. One that I played all of this.
That.
A good one. Hotline Miami. I'm assuming you guys are familiar with that.
Oh my gosh,
Hotline Miami was fantastic. Both of those are on our to-do list. Braid I never completed either, but it's one of those games that I really want to go back and give another shot, because I know
we're thinking about doing Transistor. That's their new game.
I hear awesome things about it.
Oh, no, Shane.
I haven't played it.
Oh,
Isn't that? I'm sorry, not Braid. That's
you were thinking of Bastion.
Oh yeah.
Bastion.
I knew what you meant by
B-game.
Transistor. I was ignoring the part about the studio. Yeah. Hotline Miami is furiously hard. When it gets later on, like I spent.
Yeah, I got to the next to last level, and then I never got any further. And I consider that complete as far as I'm concerned. I'll watch the rest of it on YouTube. It was the same for me with VVVVVV. I got to the third from the last screen, and that game's divided into screens that are, take you 500 tries, but each try is, 3 seconds. I had that game within my grasp.
Both you and I, Reagan, have played that game multiple times and gotten to essentially the same spot and stopped. It's kind of a brutal game. And
so I considered that complete. And it took me 2.5 hours of gameplay to get to that point, and then it took me another 2.5 hours on that point before I gave up.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, nice easy one then. I'll switch gears a little bit. Trying and Trying 2. Not hard games, but fun. Like they're just kind of whimsical. Play through them. They're pretty too. They're surprisingly pretty.
Super
for
pretty.
Indie game.
We were just playing Trying 2. It's a fantastic example of a game you can play co-op. We obviously being in different cities and trying to chat with each other about games. That leads us to talking about a lot of what's the word? Online co-op games. Co-op is just easier to arrange. When you grow up as twins, there's a certain if you have a co-op game versus instead of a versus game, fewer fights break out. I was because my brother and I, we do the same thing you guys do. We live quite a ways away from each other, so when we try to game together, our game is Age of Empires, because that was like the only game we had for years growing up. But it's not cooperative at all. We just mostly sit and make snide remarks at each other over Skype.
I think that I seem to remember we've mostly done co-op games since I can't remember exactly what game it was, but a fight broke out that spilled out into a house next door that was under construction, and we wound up hitting each other with 2x4s. So wasn't that Virtua Fighter on the Sega Saturn?
Virtua Fighter will do that. Oh yeah, I had one.
It was probably that game was cheap, and Shane was cheap. No, you were cheap.
Virtua Fighter, I had whichever one came out on the PS3. Yeah, that game is so cheap. It's just block. You have to get really good at blocking, but you just block for 10 minutes and then sneak a punch in. And so me and my roommate would play that. It was the exact same situation. He'd be like, stop blocking! Dave, this is Chris we're talking about if you want a visual image. He's like, stop blocking! Yeah. Stop blocking! What? Stop it! It's kind of like Super Smash Brothers. You always have that one friend who knows the super cheap way to kill you over and over. Like they're just playing as Link and spinning in a circle with the swords and just cutting you to pieces. Versus.
I think
we did much better with co-op games. We played a lot of Toe Jam and Earl.
Never played it.
That game is a well, you weren't a Sega kid.
I was not.
Toe Jam and Earl and its sequel, Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron, are both fantastic games. They're very different. Toe Jam and Earl is a top-down view. It's actually a roguelike. It is actually. It's a roguelike from. And the other one's a platform. Yeah, both great, although the second one is less great. And they're a great example of a retro co-op game that you can really still enjoy today if you like those styles. And then what was that? We played that terrible. We were such Sega kids. We had that terrible 32X.
Yes.
And there was a really excellent co-op space shooting game for it, and I don't remember the name. Do you remember that, Shane?
Shadow something.
Well, if we think of it. Anyway, that was a useless digression. Thank you.
That's all right. The space is unlimited. Dave, how about you? What are your...
No, I was just gonna say that I'm pretty sure I have a disease where I can't even actually see short games. Like I'm just like, what? All I see is Skyrim and Total
Dave has
War.
this issue. He is a loot whore. He has done despicable things for loot. You don't even know.
I found out at work today, Jeremiah, actually talking about Stalker at work, a coworker did the exact same thing.
Yeah, the short
so
version,
I'm not the
just to
only
give you a
one.
slight taste. Are you familiar with Stalker? When
Just
Dave
a bit,
played
not
the
very.
original Stalker, he was trying to figure out a way to get more loot back to the traders so he could sell it all. And he figured out that he could load dead bodies full of stuff and then drag the dead bodies as like pack mules. And he would...
Because ragdolls had no inventory limit.
So he could fill them with unlimited guns and stuff and drag them back to the traders. So...
That's brilliant.
That's creative. Yeah.
And were you the one who was hacking Skyrim so you could carry like 4,000 pounds?
Oh yeah. That's the only like cheats I ever use in Skyrim or Oblivion or Fallout is inventory space because I got tired of managing it. I'm like, I like all this stuff. I'm gonna keep it with me. My load times got really bad.
You didn't take the time to learn the potion crafting to get that. I don't remember what it was called. It had giant's toe in it, where you could craft a potion that would let you carry unlimited stuff for 15 minutes, and it would always get you just close enough to wherever you were going to drop off your stuff that you'd think you were going to make it, and then it would wear off, and you would spend the rest of your evening walking slowly across.
Yeah, you're like walking in slow motion, like easy, easy. Got that big Santa Claus bag.
You're like,
Easy.
don't spell it. My thing.
Because you're gonna really need all those knives.
But you don't understand. The pewter bowls are worth a gold. A gold. I'm the hero of the realm. I need this gold.
I'm gonna spend that gold on. I don't know. I've already got full armor.
The best thing about Skyrim is I never needed money. I just killed everybody and took their things. So like you're just playing Skyrim wrong, Dave.
You're just a murder hobo.
Basically, well, I would also carry around different like complete sets of armor for different environments. Like I had like a snow environment outfit and like a like forest like hunter outfit, and I've got a problem. I'm not even gonna lie.
I never bought a house.
You see,
Go ahead.
You don't look like you're an actual hoarder. I can only see a small part of your house behind you, but.
Yeah, I keep it all to the games, thankfully.
In Skyrim and Oblivion, I never bought a house. I always just showed up in town, picked a nice one, and killed whoever lived there. Like, my house. Right of conquest.
My favorite loot story from Skyrim, and most of our viewers have heard this one before, is when I got tired of dumping like all the jewels that you pick up, like gold bars, jewelry, like gold plates. I would steal everything that wasn't tied down. I got tired of carrying that junk around, so I used a spare room in my house to just empty the inventory. I like went down my list, emptying my inventory, and when I exited my inventory screen, my game froze for about 2.5 minutes while the game added all those objects to the world, and then loot just exploded across the room. Like if I go into that house, it lags right now. I can actually open the door and watch the door like slide into my pile of jewels and loot.
Oh. Can you Scrooge McDuck in it?
Yes, you actually can. Like it lags a bit, but like it bounces off the walls and like flies around in piles.
If you do the dragon shout, does it just like all fly into the air and huge?
I'm afraid to try that. Actually, it sounds like
you gotta do
SOI
it.
680s get shadow play ready and get us a 60 FPS dragon shout of all the jewels flying through the air. That ought to be like your channel intro. Is flying jewels with you roaring in your Skyrim outfit.
I think there might be a whole game there, just a Scrooge McDuck diving and swimming around in golden jewels simulator.
Bullet storm games that just make fun of the whole shooter thing. Why isn't there like a loot fun game where like loot is just laying in massive gold? Well, that's kind of what the Lego games are. The Lego games just like coins. My wife loves playing Lego Lord of the Rings, and the whole game is just basically dumping prizes on you nonstop because it's designed for like kids through adults, so they focus heavily on the kids side.
If you get to the point of the loot where like the whole game is like, how do I not drown in gold? That would be so fun.
I need to expand my mansion to fit more gold bars.
We call it the 1%. That's
yes.
Yeah, it was Shadow Squadron, Reagan. I know I'm super late to the party. But
that's a very generic.
The one game worth getting on the 32X.
Wait, what was the 32X?
Oh, the 32X was a 32-bit.
It was what our
add-on.
parents bought us instead of getting us a SNES.
Oh,
yeah.
It was an add-on for the Sega Genesis that added. It would stick
was
on
the Genesis
top.
16-bit or 8-bit? It was 16-bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Genesis was 16-bit. This was
32-bit.
That doesn't.
It was basically a gigantic, looked like a hemorrhoid pillow with a cartridge coming out of the bottom that you would stick down into the top of your Genesis. And it had its own power cord. And essentially, as far as I can tell, it was a whole console contained in that thing.
This sounds like your
except it sort of
external
passed
graphics
everything
card
through.
idea.
Yeah, and it was a terrible.
It does.
First of all, it was a terrible system because there weren't a lot of very good games for it. You know, it had the similar problem to the Sega CD in that no one buys add-ons, and so no one makes games for add-ons. So it didn't have a great selection of games, and the games were pretty noticeably better than Genesis games, but they weren't on par with things like the PlayStation. It was really that kind of weird in between point, and it also broke after only about maybe just 6 weeks or something.
That was where I first played the first 3D Virtua Fighter game.
Nice.
Oh yeah. And the Shadow Squadron was also three-dimensional, which was really shockingly cool at the time. It was not even real wireframes. It had polygons. It had actual polygons. Maybe only like 15 of them, but they were polygons.
So I'm looking up
shaded surfaces.
I'm looking up the. It looks like the 32X sitting on top of a Genesis looks like the bridge of a Star Destroyer, like perched on top of the Star Destroyer. And it was its own 32-bit.
That makes
console.
it sound a lot
it doesn't
cooler
look
than
cool.
it really looks.
Imagine a Star Destroyer with
Hemorrhoid
with all
pillow
the
is
cool
better,
stuff
guys.
cut off. Like it's the rear quarter of a Star Destroyer without all the guns and rockets. And black and Sega.
We also had the Sega Channel, which was another one of those things that you'd plug down into the Sega, but it downloaded games over your cable TV
That thing
signal.
was so cool.
Man, Sega was really
the
ahead
Sega
of their
Channel was
time.
amazing.
Sega had a ton of really cool add-ons, all of them huge failures, but I look back pretty fondly on all of them.
The Sega Channel, we had this one game that I've never been able to find again, even in ROMs or anything, that was the most perfect version of Bomberman that I've ever played.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, man, I just remember, like, staying home sick from school one week. I was super, super sick, and I would just be going back and forth between hurling and getting on the Sega Channel, and hurling and getting on the... until there was nothing left in my stomach.
So, I mean, because internet browsing back then was... Well, it didn't really exist a ton.
This was not internet.
It was over
actually.
your cable, though, right? I'm saying, so how slow was the browsing on that?
There was no browsing. What it would do would be overnight, your cable, your Sega Channel would broadcast a data signal over an actual television channel. And it was actually something kind of analog and like a typical modem signal, and it would broadcast this at periodic times. And the Sega Channel had to be on, otherwise it wouldn't receive it. And if it was on during one of these broadcasts, it would receive several games, which it would store on its internal memory, and you could then go in and play those games. And then when it received another broadcast, it would overwrite them with something else. So you'd usually have a selection of like 6 games.
I was
or
so
something
mad
like that.
when that Bomberman got overwritten by like Comic Zone.
Yeah, and you didn't have a choice about it either. And sometimes they would be games that were like upcoming, they hadn't come out yet, and you'd get like an unfinished version of a game. In fact, there's some interesting games that came out on the Sega Channel that actually never got released. I can't remember enough off the top of my head right now. Worth checking out the Wikipedia article or something. But it was really a neat idea. It was pre-internet DLC, essentially.
It sounds like it was like PlayStation Now, but 20 years ago.
It was an amazing.
That's a really
bit of
interesting
technology.
idea. I mean, a lot of things Sega's been very forward thinking on, but yeah, as you said, none of them were commercially successful. And you're right, peripherals don't sell. Rest in peace, Kinect. But yeah, peripherals just don't sell. So I don't know why manufacturers keep making them. I guess they always think this is the one that's going to do it. This time it'll be different.
Right.
This time millions of people will buy this stupid little wand that suctions to the TV or whatever it does. And now this is
I'm a real believer. I mean, I saw the Kinect and I was like, this is the future.
Yeah, when they first showed you the video where they like drew a picture and held it up, and then the little kid on screen pulled your picture into the screen and was talking to you and stuff. Yeah, that looked amazing, but the Kinect was not like that at all. That was
no. It was like a less sensitive DDR pad, but you could wave your arms
the
too.
Kinect is you're too close or you're too far away or the room is too dark simulator. That's what Kinect is, as far as I'm concerned. And even the new Kinect, from what I hear, isn't really any better. It's kind of like Siri. Like, it's close, but not on 80% of the time. And that's the problem with voice control, is it kind of needs to be on 99% of the time. Like, it has to be more convenient than hitting the one button that does the thing you're trying to get the thing to do. And so far, voice control is not there. But anyway, yeah, Ultra Grunt in chat brings up a good point. Kinect can't die. How can we dance off against Darth Vader in Star Wars Kinect without a Kinect? I don't know. You'll just have to be deprived of that console experience.
Hell, man.
I mean, just to bring up Star Wars, like when they demoed the Kinect, I was like, that's going to be perfect for Star Wars games. And then
lightsaber game.
Would have been.
We've all been waiting for a proper lightsaber game with motion controls since we were all, 7 years old, right? Still hasn't happened.
I don't think it's going to. Well, maybe when the Oculus Rift, but that's the thing, is like the Oculus Rift, another peripheral. If there's one I wanted to catch on, it would be the Oculus Rift, because that's more of like a new direction for the industry, which would automatically make everything else more awesome. That Star Citizen might make me buy an Oculus Rift when that's fully supported.
I saw this. I'm struggling to remember the name of it, but speaking of amazing peripherals that will never catch on, I saw a demo today of a set of gloves and had an optical sensor that goes on your chest. I don't know if either of you guys have any of you guys have seen this
the
thing.
One that just shocks you when you get shot?
I'm struggling to remember the name, but
is it like the shock vest? Like it? Okay.
No. Although I think we actually had something like that for the Genesis, but there's a thing that has a camera that mounts on your chest and some like sensors in a set of gloves that's doing a Kickstarter like right now. I'll see if I can find more info about it, but it looks like it would pair really nicely with an Oculus because you could see your hands in front of your face, and they were saying like that's the first thing everybody does when they put on an Oculus. They like wave their hands in front of their face, like I can't see my hands, and then you can see your hands and you can interact.
That's cool. I feel like if I had 30 grand to spend on a gaming setup, an Oculus Rift, one of those things you stand on that rotates, that lets you like walk around. If you know what I'm talking about, have you seen those? It's like a rotating treadmill that suspends you just high enough that it keeps you in place, but you can walk around on it with an Oculus Rift on, and one of those vests that when you get shot, it jerks in the same place you get shot. Like all that together is like the real first-person experience, I guess. It probably is really disorienting.
You come out of that with PTSD.
Yeah, it's probably really disorienting, but whatever.
Which mentioning, not to tear this all the way back to Genesis peripherals again, but the other Genesis peripheral that I'd forgotten about until you just mentioned it, and now I'm going to have these PTSD dreams. It was awful.
Your parents
we were like I said, we were big Sega kids.
And you're like, Mom, I want a Nintendo.
I just want to play Mario.
No, it was total Stockholm syndrome. We really believed in this.
Okay, so you're one of the classic console people. Like you had to prove to yourself that no, this is better. Like you're gonna ride your sinking ship all the way to the ground. Let me guess, you had a GameCube. Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. I got a GameCube. I got a GameCube this year.
For what, $20?
But we had a Saturn.
Of course you
did. And that was a sinking ship. No, the peripheral we were talking about there was that, I don't know, it was a third-party thing. It wasn't an official Sega thing, but there was a vest that you would wear that had on the front of it. Essentially, it was like tying a subwoofer to your body. And the premise was that, you'd feel the action of the game, and you'd plug it into the console in some way, and it would vibrate your body while you play. It was, oh, man, how did we, what possessed us to get that, Shane? The 90s were an amazing time, weren't they?
Basically.
But this new thing, the Control VR, I found the name of it, and it actually does look pretty legit. They've got their Kickstarter up right now. If you are
another
going to drop $1 million on an Oculus and a hamster ball to live inside of, and you want to be able to see your hands, this seems like the piece of technology for you.
There's a very small subset of people who are like, I'm so glad I'm alive right now.
Joel is that person right now. Who he expects a phone call,
speaking
by
of Joel,
the way.
actually, I was about to segue into our news segment called 90 Seconds with Joel, so let me text him.
He's on Skype
he's on,
right now,
I can just Skype him. All right, we are going to Skype Joel into the call for 90 Seconds with Joel.
I love how his accidental photo is still his photo on Skype, like
Dave,
a month
I don't
later.
see a time code.
Oh, you like a time code, wouldn't you?
Code. It says he's on Skype. I don't see him.
How will we know when Joel didn't show up?
The dead silence.
All right, well, I'm going to hang up on him, and then I will call him. Wait, are you there?
What's up, my brothers?
Hi, Joel. How's it going?
Dude, it's doing awesome. This is the first wedding I've been to as a guest since before I got married.
Joel is a wedding videographer, and I'm a wedding
2009.
photographer, so we share this bond of never actually attending weddings. So I feel for you, brother.
Dude, it feels awesome. It's so much fun. I'm like, hey, I don't have to videotape. I can eat food first because I always have to eat last. I'm like, screw that. I'm going first.
You eat last? That's one of my things. Is photographer eats first because I got to get set up. Not like
no. Well,
before the bride
I try that. I try that, but I swear, like people nowadays, like they're like, no, the videographers need to eat last because everyone needs to go through. I'm like, oh wait, then I eat last right as everyone's done eating, and then I got to film some more. I'm like, you jerk.
No, Joel, you gotta film people eating. That's the good footage. You gotta be ready to go.
Like those photos.
You gotta get that chew cam.
Yeah, like there was this one uncle guy in the no joke in the background. He was just peeing against the wall. He was so drunk. I'm like, I didn't film that.
Yes, you do. If he's doing that in full view at a wedding, trust me, they want video of that.
At least with the police report later.
But Joel, you're on with Reagan and Shane from the Short Game podcast. If you heard some foreign voices there.
No, nothing's foreign to me. Yeah, all good.
Okay.
He's been around.
What's up, guys?
So
I actually didn't read up on anything about you guys because I wasn't planning to be on the podcast. So I'm just going to pretend that you guys are really awesome.
Pretend no more.
I really appreciate that.
Oh, good old Joel says exactly what he's thinking. All right, this is 90 Seconds with Joel, a part of the podcast, usually 90 seconds or way longer, where Joel gets to do whatever he wants. So, Joel, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I was watching the Ricky Gervais show last night, and they had a really cool segment on there. I thought it was funny, so I thought it'd be funny to do, right? So we're all on a deserted island, or not all of us together, because that would actually be kind of cool and gay at the same time.
We're deserted together.
It would only be a couple weeks, and then more gay stuff would happen. So let's never do that. So back.
All right, Joel, thanks for calling in. We'll see you next week.
I'm curious, who would I be more interested in? Would it be Dave or Skinner?
This is not the discussion. What's your actual question?
And Reagan's actually my brother, so we're not going to.
We're not going to go there. I'm hosting this. We're not having this discussion, Joel. What's your real thing?
Okay, no, you're on a desert island by yourself.
All right.
Okay, and somehow you're gonna live out your entire life.
Well, of course
you don't have to worry about
your
food
life
or
on
anything.
here. Short or long?
Shut up. Okay, so you have to bring one item with you, right? But it cannot be useful.
What qualifies as useful?
It can't be a useful item. It can't be like a fishing pole or things like. It has to be purely entertainment value.
Okay.
So give it a thought, and then, because I already know what I would bring. So I'll go first, and I'll let you guys actually answer.
Quick disclaimer. One item. Can it be one item and a necessary accessory that would go with it, or can it be just one physical item?
No, it can be like a thing, but it can't be like, I'm bringing an entire library. Yeah, I mean, it can be, it doesn't have to be exactly one item.
I had time now.
I mean, am I going to have to be able to plug it in?
Well, yeah, pretty much. You wouldn't have power, like you would have whatever it is.
Can we assume that if it was an electronic device, we could have electricity in this clearly made up
let's just
scenario?
say that if you bring a DVD player...
This is a video game podcast. We're all going to pick some kind of video game thing, and then we're all going to be stuck with these things that with dead batteries or no plugs. This is going to be a terrible island.
I've got this I brought my statuette that came with my Witcher pre-order, and
I shake it at all the natives and scream. All right, Joel. What's your thing?
Okay, so what I would bring is pure entertainment value. Would have to be Dave's mom. years
I'm
of
really sorry,
entertainment.
guys. He's on the
Joel,
podcast.
all this prep work was for a mom joke? Really? All that setup? All of that setup?
No, I was more interested about hearing what you guys would do. So, because mine's always gonna be silly. So, Dave, go ahead. What would you bring?
Oh, pass. I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Like, I could go real easy.
Anybody
like, I'll bring a baseball, which I can throw in the air for hours on end or bounce against walls. But that's also useful because I can get really good at pitching it and kill animals with it to eat.
When I was watching the show last night, I couldn't help. I was laughing, and Joy was like, "Why are you laughing so hard?" Because I couldn't help but think about Picor. Like, he would somehow bring that item, like, and then like the glasses would break or the ball would fall in the water. Like the very first time he like threw it or touched it or read at the book, like it would fall, it would rain, and be like, "Oh."
We have this friend who has luck that can only be described as the worst of anyone I've ever met.
Actually, I have a 10-second story that just explains his luck, Jeremiah. Did you hear how Jason's Monday
No,
went?
I did not.
He works on a personal laptop at work on Monday.
I'll pretend like I don't know so you can tell everyone else.
On Monday, he got to work, turned his personal laptop on, and it sparked and smoked and never turned on again. So in order to work on Monday, he had to take his lunch break, go to Best Buy, and buy an overpriced new personal laptop to then rush back for a meeting at work for. That's Jason's luck right there.
That's awful.
That's pretty bad.
Oh, and he paid for it with a credit card that he had just paid off last month.
I have a question about the rules or terms of this whole procedure.
The Desert Island Challenge here.
Yes. Does the object have to truly exist in the reality in which we actually reside? You ruined my whole plan to bring Jambi, the genie in the mirror from Pee-wee's Playhouse, as played by Phil Hartman.
I would bring antimatter and just swallow the whole wretched world. Like, if I can't be happy, no one can be happy. The world implodes.
Hey, you're big enough.
I would steal and bring my brother's collection of Game Boy Advance games. Because I feel like that would hold up on the desert island for a while.
Well, but the whole problem there was that we can't charge things,
we're allowing,
right? So essentially, you're just doing that.
You find like a lot of potatoes you can plug it into or something.
There's an outlet in the hatch.
Infinite energy, so it just goes on forever. But that's the only thing you have.
Okay.
If there's infinite energy, I'm gonna lick
energy.
Give me your superpowers.
You know, I think Skinner would be the best person to be on an island because he could like easily reach up and grab the coconuts. And just like enjoy them like fruit.
The joke here, not that it's funny, is that Joel is a tiny person and he likes joking that I'm a couple inches taller than the national average, which to him is an endless source of amusement. That I'm a huge monster.
It's a monster.
That's pretty funny, Stretch.
I think I have my answer. If I'm completely alone, then I'm going to go with a lame answer and do a smart TV with Amazon Prime and Netflix and Hulu. Because there will be a never-ending stream of decent TV shows that I can binge on as I eat my coconuts that Jeremiah has gotten down from the tree.
That means you would eventually get to the show as the world turns. And you'd like watch every episode of that crappy show.
I think I would start with Survivor Man because I think I could learn a lot from that.
Oh, you're very optimistic.
About... I mean, you know, when you got to drink your own pee or whatever, you'll have the wherewithal to figure it out.
What would kill you first?
I can glance over for
drinking your own
instructions.
urine or drinking salt water?
That's
like the devil's choice right there.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I would dig for a very long time and try to find some other water.
At least after salt water, you're dead, so there's that.
You don't have to live with the shame.
After urine, first you drank urine and then you're dead, so...
You got to show up at the pearly gates to St. Peter going, dude.
You guys got any toothbrushes?
You're going to need to sit out there for a while.
Can I get a mint?
It's like we have standards. All right. Well, thank you, Joel, for joining us. Are you going to stick with us for the rest of the podcast, or are you bouncing out here?
I'm going to go actually hang out and dance. I'm going to dance like a fool, man. Yeah, I am. Yeah, well, they just started eating and stuff, so they actually just finished cutting the cake.
Special report.
What is cutting the cake?
No, I mean like they just finished and then I came out here. So, yeah. So, They have a cheesecake actually for cake and cupcakes, so it's not really much to cut or whatever. But so yeah, I'm gonna dance. But last little thing, what are you guys most excited to possibly see tomorrow? Not what you think is gonna be displayed, but what are you most excited to actually? What? Yeah, sorry,
Monday.
Gosh, not
I was
tomorrow,
like Monday. I'm all ready for Monday.
Yeah. I don't know. This weekend, I'm just like in E3 heaven right now, so I'm just excited.
Well, I already saw The Witcher 3 today, so I'm basically done for. See you guys next year, and that's all I needed.
So you're not excited to see The Division?
If they show if they show like 10 minutes of gameplay, I'm excited. I don't want to see the stupid, very heavily edited sequence that they've been showing for 2 years. I want to see
Watch Dogs all over again.
Well, I think we're gonna see it because I mean it's been a year since it was announced, so I think now's the time we'll see it. I'm really excited to see Battlefront.
If they show it, I'm excited.
They already said they are. They said they are. They're showing it off this year.
You guys should be ready for some casual conversations for the Patreon subscribers. Casual conversations will be dropping after the major press conferences. So.
Oh yeah, Xbox I think is at 12. EA and Ubisoft are like
this is Western time
and 4 o'clock. Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah, we convert them. So it's 12 o'clock, then it's like a 2 o'clock and a 5 o'clock, and then Sony's is at 8 o'clock, or 8 or 8:30, I think. So after that, for the late evening, because I'm actually doing the Norman Visual Effects meeting on Monday night. But after that, let's definitely chat. I know James and I will be up, and we'll be on Skype and stuff. So we should chat, like text chat while we're watching.
Good. Same as last year. So, all right, cool.
Well, you guys have fun. Break a leg. I'm gonna go break a leg by dancing my face off.
Dance your face off, Joel. Bye.
See you guys.
See you, Joel.
He is, believe it or not, a grown man. Okay, so now we're at the part of the show called Dave's Comment of the Week, where Dave digs deep into the cesspool of the internet and shares with you things that people have told us on our videos this week. Oh, yes.
This is why we don't post to YouTube.
It's always good.
Before we begin, should I save the Brian Hicks tweets for next episode with our more DayZ focused talk?
No, that one of those is so good that it just has to be read.
Okay. So we'll start off with my personal comments from my channel. I got a couple of good ones this week. On our first DayZ Epoch video, this is total leet speak, so I'm going to try to read this. Bandit Nub, L2P, which is, I guess, learn to play. Kids like you ruin the game. So stop playing the game in a way that I don't like. I mean,
stop playing this game with no rules or structure in the way that I don't play the game, which affects the way I do play the game, and I hate you. And please kill yourself.
Think how much better the game would be if everyone played the same way.
Yeah. I've always loved that argument. Like, hey, this sandbox game right here, this open world sandbox game, you're playing it wrong.
DayZ, which has no objective. There is no objective. If you just want to sit on the coast and die, that's valid. That's just as valid as killing everybody you meet. So, all right.
Probably how I would play it, really.
I'll just censor this one just a bit.
The username is the Mama Bear 1999, so we can assume this is a 15-year-old. All right.
Yeah, this is on a real-time strategy series that I haven't updated in a few weeks because I'm updating other real-time strategy videos that take hours to record, edit, render, and upload. These are like hour-long videos. But this is how he intends to get me to upload more often. Dude, stop taking so effing long to edit.
Thank you, kind sir.
Thanks for the support, fan.
Get your shit together.
Love, your biggest fan. I'll kill you.
Yeah. I'll upload a video. I'll find you.
And then we have 15 and already a mama bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's numerous ways you can interpret that comment or that username. All right, what did Parker have to say about Watch Dogs?
Yeah, this is actually, I'm really glad that Parker commented this comment. He got into some really deep discussion about the graphics, with Watch Dogs. There's been a lot of discussion about how Watch Dogs here at launch did not meet the E3 projection of a few years ago. And Parker just provided some great thoughts on the graphics here for Watch Dogs. His comment is, it looks better on console.
Thanks, Parker. And now,
thanks for the feedback.
The side segment. The most inappropriate comment of the week is what, Dave?
Are you guys familiar with DayZ, the open world survival game? We play it all the time. We're huge fans.
I've seen your channels. No, I'm familiar with it as
I'm familiar with it.
Gotcha. Okay, that's basically all you need to know. It's still in pre-alpha. It probably won't actually be out till next spring, but right now they're
you
kind
guys
of...
on the Skype.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you.
It's just Shane.
Testing
It's
one,
okay.
two.
We never liked him. Oh,
No.
Oh, I think he's back. He furrowed his brow. Maybe he heard that.
Shane, are you there?
He's thinking about it. Someone is torrenting at his house.
All right, we'll try to get him back in a second. If need be, Reagan, I can...
Oh no! Now his video froze at his derpy face. Oh.
Oh, he's gone.
I can call
Man
his
down.
telephone from Skype and Skype him back in that way if he's truly offline.
Let's see. I'll text him.
Well,
but
no, I can't. Yeah, I can't get him back on this. But okay. Well, Dave, what's your most inappropriate comment this week?
Yeah, well, basically the game is still in pre-alpha and will be for a while, so they're still defining the core concepts that are going to make up the final result in the survival game. And occasionally I like to go to Brian Hicks or Dean Roccat Hall's Twitter pages and just look at the replies they get to unrelated tweets. Brian was posting about like a TV show or something he was watching. Brian Hicks is a producer on DayZ, and someone replied to his innocent tweet about a television show with, "Hey, add raping to hardcore servers, please." And it was even better because the next day, after getting no response, he followed up with a second reply to that same tweet. "Hey, take me off your block list, you arrogant twat."
Oh man. And I mean, as DayZ players, you have probably already seen some of the articles that were posted recently where I don't have enough context, and nor do I really want to wade into that discussion. But there's already some controversy about DayZ in that regard. Good God. Don't be such a jackass. That's awful.
But only on the hardcore servers for the people who want the real DayZ.
I quit the internet. I quit the internet because of this comment. Goodbye.
But like,
it's one of those things where there are some players who have already attempted to perform virtual rapes. You don't need to give them the ability to like have an animation or an action. Like they're already trying. Don't give them ammunition.
I'm only laughing because it's so horrible.
People are
like, I
terrible.
just don't. Who said I was like? But not on all servers. Just hardcore servers for the people who want the real game.
Because we're us hardcore gamers, us real core gamers. We want that kind of thing.
I speak for the people, right, guys.
Yeah.
And then
Does anybody else love rape? I mean, come on.
The fact that it was a reply to a completely unrelated tweet, and then he got indignant that he got blocked over it. Just everything about that was just horribly fantastic.
Do you think we'll be able to get Shane back for the very ending, or are we going to have to go without him?
Here, let me see what I can do. Can you try calling me again now?
I'll try to add him to the group call.
If that doesn't work, I can give you his phone number and you can try that.
That works pretty well. It does not appear to even be ringing.
I put it in the
everyone,
Skype chat.
do not read. Woo! Boom. All right. And all right, here goes.
I feel like we're like a prize show here or something. Do you know what you've won?
This is good radio right here.
Well, I'm texting with him. Yes. Hi, Internet. Anybody know a good joke?
Hello, Shane. How's it going?
Shane.
I think it's going okay. I'm taking this on the phone. If that's
It is how I meant to call you
me.
because I called you a couple times on Skype and it wasn't going through. So we're circumventing.
Yeah, I'm suddenly having all kinds of issues over here. I don't know what's going on.
Tell Julia to turn off the Netflix.
Yeah, I'm telling her she's binging on Breaking Bad in the other room, and I think it just hit me in.
That's the problem in my
acceptable.
household. I call it the Grey's Anatomy bandwidth drop.
Okay, yes. What?
Oh,
what is
your
with
wife
that?
too?
She's rewatching all the seasons. It's always behind me. No, wait, hold on. Wait, Jeremiah, pause. No, it's happening right
Your
now.
wife too.
Just through that
You
door.
watching
I can
Grey's
hear it.
Anatomy? Don't give me that look. Everyone here, all their wives apparently watch this show.
I was watching
Oh, she was watching 24. She's very indignant.
Okay,
I
well,
love
that's better.
you.
He's making all this up and talking to a poster on his wall.
No, Dave's met her. She's real. Okay, but as we wind the show down, Shane, we wanted to call you back just so you can be a part of the ending. If people want to come find out about the short game, where can they follow you guys? You guys have a Twitter.
Yes. So first off, probably the easiest way to find everything would just be to come to our website, lovingly crafted at theshortgame.net. So you can type those characters into the address bar of your web browser. You can also Google us, but the problem is that there is a prominent documentary on Netflix about children playing golf that is called The Short Game. So you'll find that, and if you scroll down a bit, I promise you'll find us. You can also follow us on Twitter, where we try to be as active as possible. We are at _shortgame. And my personal Twitter, where I also tweet about games I'm playing and what's going on with the show, is Reagan K. I spell that funny. I'm RayGank. Shane?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter as well. I'm at 8BitShane. 8BitShane.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys.
Now, how do we find you guys on our 32-bit cable box
what
plugins?
time do we have
stream
to
you
have
guys
it
through
on
that?
to
You have to leave your Twitter box connected to your cable at 4:58 p.m. on a Thursday, and you should receive our download.
That will overwrite the last one, though, right?
Yeah.
If you don't get it, call your cable provider.
Only $69.99 a month.
That's a steal.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you very much. You're awesome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
This
you guys
was
are a lot
a
of
fun
fun,
show.
and I hope your podcast goes very well.
Yeah.
And we shall have to have you back on at some point in the future. We'll wait till you get fabulously famous, and then we'll have you back on so we can just pimp it out. Exactly.
Ride that train.
We love them coattails. But thank you guys for coming out. You can follow us. You can write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com to be a part of the show. You can also tweet at casualshenaniga because we hit the character limit on the Twitter name after we picked the name.
Yeah, we did too. We were going to go for the Short
Way
Game
too long.
Podcast.
Oh, Podca.
Yeah.
The Boston one. The
That's
Short Game
us.
Podcast.
The Short Game was taken once again by something related to golf.
But yeah, and then you can follow us on YouTube, EvilViking13, JERMgaming, or on Twitter, EvilViking and JERMgaming. So thank you guys very much for coming out. You can also you can listen to Casual Shenanigans Gaming on Stitcher Radio. So if you are a Stitcher fan, we are on Stitcher. So I don't personally use Stitcher.
We have to figure that Stitcher
You just
thing
go
out at some
submit
point,
an
Shane.
RSS feed to them and fill out like 3 questions, and then they send you an email that says, congratulations. And you have to
Nice.
promise to mention it at some point on the show. So there it is.
There you go, Stitcher.
But thank you guys very much for coming out. Thank you everyone who joined us live in chat. And next week we'll have a very special post E3 wrap-up show. So thank you everyone for coming out. And as always, what do we do, Dave?
We slap a seal. We stay casual.